Hey guys, how are you doing? Xiaomi just made a move that few people expected. They released a giant open source AI model focused on agents and with aggressive pricing. The MiMo 2.5 Pro is not just another competitor. It was designed to perform complete tasks from start to finish without relying on multiple tools. Now, is it really good? Can it compete with the giants here in the West? That's what we're going to find out now. But first, if you enjoy this content that I post here every single day, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out a lot. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like. Deal? So let's get to the video. Well guys, today I want to share with you this news the folks at Xiaomi just announced. Listen up, the Xiaomi MiMo 2.5 Pro is now officially open source. And what does that mean? It means they've just made a model available that you can use on their platform without having to pay anything or with a very low API cost. Today we are launching and releasing the open source code for MiMo 2.5 Pro. This is our most powerful model so far, offering significant improvements over its predecessor, MiMo V2 Pro, which by the way already has a video here on the channel. In general, agent capabilities, complex software engineering, and long-term tasks, MiMo 2.5 Pro is the mixture of experts model. With 1 trillion parameters and 42 billion active parameters, built on a hybrid attention architecture, with a context window of 1 million tokens, so it's a model with many ambitions. Because it has 1 trillion parameters and a context window of 1 million tokens, which is quite a lot. Here in the benchmarks, they make a comparison between 2.5, 2.5 Pro, 2 Claude Opus 4.6, Gemini 3.1 Pro, and GPT 5.4. Notice that the comparison is with the models from Anthropic and OpenAI. It is made with reference to the previous generation. That said, here in the coding agent, MiMo V2.5 Pro appears here right behind Claude Opus 4.6 and GPT 5.4, but it is well ahead of Gemini 3.1 Pro here. This is on the STD benchmark. Here at the coding benchmark, we can see here that the Xiaomi model is once again ahead of Gemini 3.1 Pro, and it loses to Claude Opus 4.6 by a small margin. Now, at the terminal benchmark, it reached 68.4 here, falling well behind GPT 5.4 and just a little behind Gemini 3.1 Pro, and ahead of Claude Opus 4.6, so it's an intermediate model. It's not super advanced, nor is it on the top shelf like the newest models, both from Anthropic and OpenAI. However, it positions itself in the middle of the table, more or less like other open source models. The MiMo V2.5 Pro was developed for more complex tasks. We assigned it tasks that would take days or weeks for human experts, and we let it operate autonomously. See what it offers. Here they list all the features that are available in this new model. I'll leave this link right here in the description of this video in case you want to learn more about the subject. Now, talking about token efficiency. Superior intelligence isn't just about getting higher scores, it's about achieving them with fewer tokens. MiMo V2.5 Pro reaches an exceptional level of performance while using far fewer tokens per trajectory. On Cloud Evolve, V2.5 Pro achieves a 64% approval rate using only about 70,000 tokens per trajectory. That's approximately 40% to 60% fewer tokens than Claude Opus 4.6, Gemini 3.1 Pro, and GPT 5.4 at comparable performance levels. So this is very important, especially for those who work with agentic and very complex tasks that require a lot of tokens. Now, let's talk about API pricing. It's actually a very competitive price. For input, you'll spend $1 per million tokens, and for output, $3 per million tokens. So, how do we get access? Well, the easiest way is at astudio.xiaomimimo.com. I'll leave the link right here in the description of this video. Or you can also use it for free on arena.ai, which we used to call LM Arena. So, let's go. I'm going to show you now everything I've already managed to create with this new Xiaomi model. If you manage technology projects or deal with high volume content creation, you know that a big bottleneck in your routine is the time wasted on repetitive tasks and the difficulty of integrating systems that don't communicate with each other. So you need to get to know Make. Make is a visual automation platform that allows you to build workflows and artificial intelligence agents very quickly. It works with more than 3,000 apps and supports both no-code and low-code development. The big difference is its ability to create moderately complex scenarios for real business cases. It goes far beyond those simple automations like just forwarding an email to a spreadsheet. And here's something amazing. You can, for example, connect the data input from a form to an automated system analysis and distribute the resulting task directly to your project management software. All of this while maintaining real-time visibility and total control of your operation through MakeGrid. The practical result is a huge time savings, much more clarity in daily processes, and the ability to scale your productivity with more confidence. In short, try Make today and get the Pro plan free for 1 month, which offers up to 10,000 operations for you to test. The link is in the first line of the video description right above the Show More button, and it's also pinned in the first comment. Alright, let's get back. So continuing, first here on the company's platform, where you can access the most advanced models without having to pay anything. Here we have the model selector, where you can choose MiMo V 2.5 Pro, MiMo V 2.5, 2.5 TTS, 2.5 TTS, Voice Design, 2.5 TTS, Voice Clone, and 2 Flash. The first example I want to show you is a Flappy Bird clone. Then people show up in the comments like, "Oh, are you showing a game again? Guys, this channel is a showcase. I want to show you what each model is capable of." That's why there's always a game, animation, website, PDF translation, dashboard creation, and so on. Here you'll see what you can do with each model. And that's exactly the idea, to take other examples I've made here on the channel for other models and apply them to these models. So you can make this comparison and see what each one is capable of doing and make that comparison to see which one does better. So it's kind of like a fashion show. What is shown there is the potential, it's what can be done. Nobody goes out wearing the clothes that are presented on a runway. So there you have the colors, the shapes, the trends, the fabrics. That's what I want to show you. So, if you're looking for something more advanced, especially when it comes to programming, then that's not really my thing. I'm a journalist, I'm not a programmer, I don't even have the skills for that. What I show here is what's new, what you can do with each model, what each one is capable of. I leave those more advanced things to the people watching the video, alright? So let's go back once again to this Flappy Bird clone. And look, it turned out really cool because it was made with just a single prompt without any kind of editing. Look, the rendering here is pretty nice, right? There's the score over there. I'm getting good at this game, huh? I died. Look, game over, score 4, new record 4. So what we notice here is that even though it's an open source model, it manages to deliver very satisfactory results, especially when we compare it to more advanced models that are available on the market today. In this second example here, I asked it to create a web page to introduce itself. In other words, MiMo V 2.5 Pro. And this was the result it delivered. Look, I found it quite satisfactory. A very well-made UI with all the menus here working. And the choice of the color palette moved away from that traditional style we're used to seeing in other AI models, which is usually lighter tones and blue. Not here. It went for something darker, with a combination of white and yellow. In my opinion, it turned out really cool. Now, this other example here, which I've actually shown in other videos on the channel, I thought turned out amazing. Because I asked him to make a 3D model of the solar system, and look at what he delivered to me. I have something here that's very well rendered, with the mouse working perfectly. I have this parallax movement here. Look how cool that is. And if I click on one of the planets, it automatically brings up information about that planet. Notice that the planet here has texture. That's something that's very complicated to do, especially in more advanced models. So, I just need to click on the planet for it to bring up the little window with the information. And the animation is very smooth because I have everything moving here, simulating the orbit of each planet. I thought it was amazing because until now, I had only managed to get something similar with other closed source models, but I had to do several iterations to get to this result. And here, I didn't. With just this single prompt, it presented this information to me in a very clean and tasteful way. I thought it turned out really cool, especially because it's an open source model. This example shows the agent's ability to access the internet, gather information, and return the results. Analyze the AI tools market. Identify the main competitors, price gaps, and trends. Next, generate a structured report, actionable insights, a market entry strategy, and a go-to-market plan. He thought for 2 seconds and already started writing the report here for me. Notice that it's quite comprehensive, everything divided into topics, just the way I asked. This is up-to-date information that he gathered from the internet and then put together this result for me. So, I thought it was amazing because in just a few seconds he was able to provide all this information. Just to be clear, it's not something he made up. He went online, checked the sources, and gave me the result. Then, in this other test here, I uploaded a PDF file with a stock report from B3 and asked the following: turn this PDF into a web page. And this was the result he delivered, which I also thought was amazing because here I have investors, trades, indexes, profitability, all based on the PDF I uploaded here. And it really is impressive because the rendering quality turned out much better. When we compare it to the previous version, compared with the V2 model, the 2.5 is far superior. Oh, and if you want, there's an option here to download the code directly to your computer and use it in any other tool. And here you have access to the code, so you can view, copy, and edit everything that was done here by the new model. In this other example here that I copied from the internet, I used a prompt asking the new model to clone Slack, which is that business communication tool. And this here was the result it gave me. Look, I thought it turned out really cool. It managed to clone Slack here. It's very similar. So here I have the threads, DMs, saved, general, engineering, design, random, announcements. So it turned out really nice because it managed to emulate everything properly here, even with these responsive icons. Obviously it's not working, right? There's no backend behind it. I just wanted to show you how it works when cloning a certain app or website. And lastly, but this time using LM Arena, which was the first platform where I did my tests, I asked it to create an operating system based on macOS. And this was the result, which I thought turned out really cool. I'll open it here in full screen. Look, it has the animated dock, which I hadn't been able to get in other models until now. Look, I have here a replica of Finder, which I can move around here. I can minimize, I can maximize. Look, everything is working perfectly. I also have a replica of Safari here, and a replica of Messenger too, and it even added some messages here. I have the notes here, and I can even add a new note, a music player, which obviously doesn't have any music working here. I have the Photos app here, where he also made some simulations, making it look like a photograph. He also made a terminal for me here, so you can type as well. Everything is working perfectly here. Calculator, a replica of the Minecraft game here. Is it working? Obviously it's something pretty basic, right? I couldn't expect anything more than that. But at least he made a rendering here, trying to emulate the Minecraft game. He also made a clone of the App Store here. He also made a copy of Maps for me here. And he also put the settings here for me. So here I have appearance, desktop, display, wallpaper, and so on. So it turned out really cool, because with just a single prompt, using LM Arena here, he was able to deliver this replica to me. Obviously, it's all emulation. There's nothing functional here, but the idea is to demonstrate rendering capability. It understood the prompt, what I was asking for, and delivered this result in a single shot. In other words, I didn't do any kind of interaction to get this result. I just entered a single prompt and it already gave me this simulation of the operating system. So guys, give it a try. It's available for free. I'll leave all the links right here in the description of this video. And in my opinion, it's another competitor in this open source universe. When we compare it to more advanced models like GPT 5.5 or Claude Opus 4.7, then we're talking about a whole different level. These newer models here in the West, they're in a whole different league. What I want to show you here is an alternative where you can use the model in a functional way without having to resort to more advanced models. Obviously, it depends on each person's usage needs. If you do everyday tasks, you don't need anything too advanced. Maybe using an open source model could fit perfectly into your daily routine. So, did you like MiMo? I thought it was really cool, especially since it's open source. But I want to hear your opinion, alright? I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
I'm just a man running out of time.